They just act like singles forever, even after being married, and that confuses other singles looking for someone, and I think that's very misleading. I recently saw a post on it that I shared in my Instagram, but it was in Spanish, from a psychologist, and it can be very sneaky things that creep into the marriage relationship that God wants it to be guarded from intruders.
Oh, who are you married to? And then the husband says, oh, I'm married to this girl. And all the other guy said was, oh, her? That's it. Since then, it went downhill. They both got divorced.
That's a huge one. I had never thought about it in that way, but actually I can totally see it. And I've experienced it myself, and I've seen families that adopt that constant conversations on others. Welcome to another episode of Happily Ever After with the Raj family. Today's episode is actually one that is super important, sometimes a little taboo, but at the same time a very much needed area to cover. It's on protecting marriage from intruders. So what is that about, honey? What are we talking about?
Intruders can be people, can be things we do, it can be anything. Anything that comes in between you and your husband, right? And I think that is important for us to share as well, to share our experience, how certain things comes into role, and we might expect it, we might not expect it, but how do we handle it? And
So
it
there's
would be great to talk about it.
Different things that can be intruders. So what is one you want to start with?
I would definitely start with people, the very common thing, because obviously, because people are always there making statements, making comments, and trying to wiggle themselves into the sanctity of the marriage, someone else's. And I think it is important for us to be careful, cognizant about those things so that we don't let them take control of our marriage. And they don't have to take control of both of us, right? They just have to take control of one person.
To destroy.
Yeah, exactly. Even not even to take control, just to put a little bit of a poison. And that's sufficient enough. I remember my mom, when she was alive, she used to be an attorney. And she said, a couple that was married for 20 years. This is back in India. They were married for 20 years. And this guy, the husband, he sees his friend after several years. He didn't know anything about this guy. Apparently they were, I think, high school friends or something. And so who are you married to? And then the husband says, oh, I'm married to this girl. And all the other guy said was, oh, her? That's it. Since then, it went downhill. They both got divorced. They both were such a good couple. They really loved each other. Married for 20 years. It all came down to nothing because of one guy making a comment as, "Oh, that girl," And that's why it is very important for us. Now, that is not the common case with everything, but it just shows that how extreme things can go to if we are not careful. If the husband was really confident in who he married, he trusted her and really loved her to know who she is and she knowing who he is, all those things were taken care. It wouldn't have come down to that part. They would have still been married. But
so I guess in this aspect is intruders that want to talk about your partner without them being present. So how should we deal with that? Have we experienced that? What is our thoughts in that regard?
I think for me, like in one of our previous episodes, we shared like there was this person that came and spoke with me something negative things about you. This is while we were in relationship, knowing full well we are in relationship, talking negative things, and I came and spoke with you. That is the most important thing you do. The first thing is not blindly believe what the other person is saying, but go to your partner or your spouse and ask them if it is true or not. And you should know that you should have a good relationship with each other in the first place to truly 100% trust your spouse or your partner in that regard. Because if you don't trust each other in the first place, then whoever says whatever will come to become an issue. So I spoke with you, and then when you shared from your side, it was totally not the same. And I figured that the other person is just trying to ruin our relationship and by talking negative things. And that person might not even have done it intentionally. Some people just do it because that is what they are used to. So I'm not saying that person intentionally tried to separate us or bring contention between us. But, it's just sad, but it's just their way of living. And then if we do not have a solid foundation in our relationship, anytime a breeze comes and hits the tree, it's going to fall,
Another thing, even though I don't think we've experienced it recently, but it's that it could be implemented in those case scenarios, is to ask the person, okay, you have something against this person, or you have something against my husband, or whoever it is, let's speak together about it. So not because when you divide someone and try to make them, hey, that person, or hey, your spouse did this and that, like, can we talk about it together as a group? Like, if you're really sure about what you want to say, let's talk about it together. And if you're not sure and you're afraid, like, what's the bigger issue behind this? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to solve an issue? Are you trying to make things right? Or are you trying just to... what's the purpose?
True.
So, not to accept comments about our spouse without them being present.
Exactly. That's very true, because then everything will be out in the open and both can talk about it, and then the other spouse can be
aware or whatever.
Be aware. If they are genuinely wrong, they can change. But what if they are not wrong?
To not be the middle person trying to connect or make things right with someone that is... Another intruder that I think can come within marriage, I mean, definitely, there are many. I was going to say one, but I think I'm going to say another one. It's people that are trying to gain the interest. Sometimes you think, once you're married, people are going to respect that.
Yeah.
And
that is how it should be.
Yes. And we chose, because of different reasons, not to have the wedding ceremony in our wedding. That's generally a sign someone is married. And you
wedding ring.
Wedding.
You said wedding ceremony. Wedding ring.
Yeah, wedding ring as part of the ceremony.
Yeah.
We chose not to have the wedding ring as part of our ceremony and exchange of rings for different reasons. But generally, if someone has a ring or if you know someone is married, then you respect and treat them as such. But we don't have a ring. So how do we deal with others knowing that we're married? What is our principle or stand in this?
That's a very good aspect to talk about, because I have personally as well, but we have experience where some people speak as though they are single. They speak and everything sounds like they are single, but then they are not, and they don't have a wedding ring either. In my case, first thing what I do is I talk about you. I talk about my wife. I say, my wife is this and my wife is back home, or my wife that, and whatnot. Somehow I'll make it a point that I am married. Because wedding ring is just a formality. It's wedding ring does no magic there. Because if I want to cheat, if I want to flirt with other women, if I want to do certain things that is not proper, I can always remove the wedding ring, put it in my pocket, and do it. You know, it's not a big deal at all. It's not like you have to come and remove the ring. I can remove it anytime, put it in my pocket, do whatever I want to, talk whatever I want to, come back home, put the ring back on.
It's true.
So wedding ring is just a formality. It is in our heart. The marriage is in our heart. That comes out as an expression, right? So when I'm in public and I'm talking with other women, I will first talk about my wife. Greetings from my wife as well. Or my wife said this, this, and this. Oh, this is a very interesting conversation my wife would have. You know, I try to make it a point to share that I am married in the first place. Because I remember once I was talking to a girl and we were talking, and it sounded as though she was single. And then I shared that I was married, my wife, newly married. No, actually, was he married? Were we married? At that time, no.
We were in a relationship.
We were in a relationship. Yeah, that's right. We were in a relationship. And then I shared about you. And then later on, someone else tells me, oh, your husband, da 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 da. I'm like, oh, so you're married. And here you're trying to talk with me as though you are single and you're free to flirt, you know. So I was taken aback, and that was my first experience. Is like, okay, I need to be careful whether they are married or not. I need to be in my part because I have a girlfriend, and then after marriage I have a wife, so I have to make that point very clear. They can share, they don't have to share. That's up to them. That's their logic or principle, whatever it is. I don't want to be in that page.
No, it's so real. Like, some people go after rings as well. They like to flirt with married people.
True.
So rings doesn't protect you always, but your way, your demeanor, your way of talking, that you're happily married or that you're committedly married, says more than any other thing. But definitely, I also believe is if we are in person acting like a married couple,
Exactly.
in the sense like we're connected, we sit together as much as possible, but even if we don't, we're always talking like we are married.
Exactly.
And acting like we are married by God's grace, like not giving the occasion for others to think, oh, look at this single person on opportunity, like, because this happens a lot even within Christians, that they just act like singles forever even after being married, and that confuses other singles looking for someone, and I think that's very misleading. So keeping intruders from our marriage is also being secure in our marriage and being very open about our marriage from the start. From the start, because you don't want someone to start dreaming about you when they shouldn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that can be a really heartbreaking for someone. So just being open, you know, we're married, my husband, our family, this, just in conversations. So what other intruder?
Another besides people. I mean,
Well,
there are
there's
people
many
that
in the people. We talk about people coming inside to kind of divide. Now people acting or not
Like
respecting the marriage. There's more on people, but which other one comes
besides
to your mind?
people? Besides people or with people?
Anything.
Besides people, I would say work. I think we stressed about that part in the previous some episodes.
There's many episodes, by the way, so you can watch them all in your free time. We refer to them because sometimes we feel like we're repeating stuff, but
We are expounding,
Yeah.
repeat and enlarge. So I definitely would say work, because many times work comes into play into our personal life as well. And this is not just for the two of us, for many people, work comes into play, especially. So, like, there are a lot of benefits with the internet, with phones, with email, and all of that, but also there are negatives. And this is one of the biggest negatives, because people come home with work. So you're working 8 to 9 hours or even 10 hours at work, and then you come home, you bring all that work along with you, and you're working.
Be it you work in your computer, in your phone, or just in your mind.
Exactly. Thoughts, ideas, different things pop up, and you are working basically. And before, when there were no cell phones, people have to call your house phone to reach you, and you can always unplug the the house phone after a certain time, and then it's the family time. You have unplugged yourself from everything else, so you can spend time with the family, you can do things that you love and all of that. But now with cell phones, constantly you are bombarded with work, different types, right? And it makes it even worse if you work from home like us, because we don't have boundaries. We have to be strongly setting boundaries with that.
Right. We don't have okay, it's time to clock out of work.
Exactly.
We have to put the boundaries ourselves.
And because a lot depends on how we work and how much we work, it can easily come in between our marriage if we don't intentionally spend time or intentionally make it a point that, okay, this is a time, okay, it's 5:30, we need to end our work at this time, or 6 o'clock, we need to end our work at this time. If we don't do it intentionally, it's going to come up. And it has happened to us several times already. Like, you are busy and I'm busy, and I'm like, okay, I'll just finish off this one thing, and you'll be like, oh, okay, he's working on that, might as well I will finish off this thing, and then I will be done, you're working on it, and I'm like, okay, so if you're doing it, I don't want to waste my time, let me do it. So it goes to 9 o'clock sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy that you just push yourself and it takes over your personal time, your marriage time, your time with God. You know, that should be a more unwinding evening routine.
Yeah.
And we have noticed that we really enjoy the times we actually decide, let's put a limit.
Yeah.
And there's always things that can come to destroy that goal. So you can see how the devil wants you to be on a rat race, how he wants you to be always occupied with good things, so that you let go of important things as well. And priorities get a little challenged or misplaced. But when we say, okay, after 6 p.m. we will take our time, maybe go for a walk, or even earlier depending our day, and then we take our evening walk, we have our supper, we have our worship, we have our time to share, and then we unwind in the room even for some time. And this is another intruder besides work. It's social media, internet connection. It's a good thing, but sometimes can take over.
Yeah.
You both might be enjoying it together, or just catching up with friends, or just, learning things together, and all can be good, but it can take personal time of connection.
Yes.
So you both can be, enjoying your time together or separately, but it can sometimes take over as well. It can be an intruder.
Big time.
And one time we actually decided after like 8 p.m. or whenever we would go to our room, we would not have the phones in the room. We did it for a while, and we would go to bed earlier. We would just have like that more peaceful time in the evening.
Yeah.
So we highly recommend it. We still are working on certain routines and things. And sometimes you try something, then you're not quite sure, try to adjust it. And so it's a whole process of being aware and planning, like, what is our goal. But that was something that was good.
Yeah. I think it definitely helps to keep the phone out of your room, so you can unwind. You're not constantly thinking, okay, what is happening? one of my weaknesses is posting a video. I want to post videos regularly, in spiritually encouraging videos. And what happens is something happens. I have to check that. Oh, is this going properly or not? Or should I post it again? So those takes time. Those take time. But I'm working on it. She's working on it. We are trying to come to a point where after this time, no work, no social media, nothing, is just family time. And I think it worked really great when we unplugged our the phones from our rooms. And I think it is a great pattern to have, not to bring phone into our room, but to leave it in the living room. It can be charging all night long. It can be ringing. Whoever wants to call, they can call, text, post whatever they want to, and we won't be worried about any of those things, because we don't know. We don't see it. We won't know. If we don't know, we don't have to spend more time on it.
And right now is the mindset of like, what if it's an emergency? Well, maybe you need to call 911, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe, yes, maybe you have children, maybe you have others depending on you. So come up with a strategic plan. Maybe you can leave a ringer in your phone for a specific number that calls, but keep it out. Go and attend it if it's really that ring only. But it's now a mindset of like any ding, ding, ding is like, wow, what is it? Who is it? And it can be from emails to posts to announcements to any social media thing. So it's way too much calling for our attention and hijacking the most important things in life.
Yeah.
So those are definitely intruders. And they can really, really destroy connection. You know, sometimes you're both into your phones, but then someone says something and the other person is like, but then you're not really there.
Listening.
We don't look at each other's eyes as much anymore. We're not really attentive listening anymore. So that's a huge intruder. It's not a person, but it's like taking over our mind and heart and everything sometimes. So
yeah, one of the things that we definitely recommend is silencing all your notifications. That's how my phone is. Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything is silenced. Like there won't be any notification. I will see it only if I go on it. If I don't go on it, it won't just pop up. And the only thing that I have with notification is emails. That's mainly because if there is someone sending an important email from work, and sometimes we work with people that are from a different time zone, different continent, and if they email, we want to make sure that they receive a response within the time or something like that. But besides that, everything else is on silence except for WhatsApp and text message. But again, once it is 9:30, it will automatically go to sleep mode. So there won't be message or anything coming through. Only when I check it manually, I see it. If not, I see it only in the morning because I'm a goner.
yeah, and if there's chats that are like groups with a lot of interaction, put them in archives. Like go and check them whenever you want, but you won't be disturbed. So it's minimizing distractions, I guess, decluttering the attention grabbers in our life so that we have more time for what we really want, honestly. Any other?
I was just about to share another one. Another intruder that comes in very sneaky is gossip. Many times we don't see it as a specific intruder. We are just having conversations. But the conversation is not necessarily about you and me. It's about someone else doing something that is not even related to us. But we are here trying to...
Spending so much time
Exactly.
on something that is not helping anyone.
Yeah. And I think that is one of the most sneakiest things. With social media, we can always do what I shared. Like
Mute
we can
and
always mute it, silence it, no notification, nothing. And only if you are tempted, it's between you and God. If you want to open the app and check, if not, it's not. Like because of that, recently, I haven't been on Facebook that much. My max per day on Facebook is less than 5 minutes. If anything, it's probably on Instagram and TikTok, and that too, as I shared, and YouTube, just to see how things are going on, and it's not like so long. But with gossip, it's a very different thing. You are the only one that can control it, handle it, because there is no button to switch it off. There is no button to stop the notification. The button is here. So I think that also comes in very subtle, but sneaks into your personal life, where instead of talking about each other, talking about encouraging things and being a blessing to each other, here now we are talking about something that has nothing to do with us. Now, if there is something, we need to really define what gossiping is. We cannot like say, oh, every single conversation is a gossip. We cannot come to that part either. If we are talking about someone that we can help out, or we see certain things that need to be changed, or somehow that is going to help another person, we have to
sharing about maybe an interaction or conversation we had, and we're just sharing with our spouse. That would be different.
We will have to have those conversations, because if we don't talk about that, how long are we going to talk about just the two of us back and forth,
And just to keep that connection about our lives, because we're not always together in everything.
Exactly.
So it's like that connection of, this is what my friends have shared, or this is what I talk with these people today, or the experience I had. So it's more like updates, maybe. Not necessarily gossip.
Exactly.
So what is gossip?
Is more dwelling on the negative aspect of it and building our own stories based off of the little information we have. Okay, he did this and she did that, and then we go all into this thing. I know why he did that. He did that because of this, this, and this. I know why she did that, and this, and this. And then we have our own stories we make up, and we are talking about them continuously for an hour, 2 hours, and it is going nowhere, because it is not constructive, it is not helpful for either of us, and it is not helpful for the other person we are talking about. It's just stories that we are talking about and just enjoying the time, and it's so addictive, right?
That's exactly what I thought when you started saying that. Gossip and negative conversations can be addictive. Exactly. And that's the danger.
Yeah.
Because then you feel that if you don't have that, you don't have spicy conversations.
Exactly.
Your life is boring. Isn't that crazy?
It's very similar to media, right? Like not social media. I'm talking about the news channels and all of that. They have to find something that is going on. If they are just going to show about regular thing that you already know, or some educational thing without too much drama, they fear that you're going to change the channel and go and watch something that is going to be exciting, excite them positively or negatively. And that's why they tend to focus more on political stuff and bombard you with all that information. And that's a type of addiction as well. So we need to be very careful. How much are we going to talk about, and how much we are going to keep it aside, because it is not part of our life. We shared, we see what could be done for bettering the situation, and then move on instead of dwelling in it.
Wow. It reminds me of Philippians, I think it's 4:8, that says, "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are pure, honest, true." Basically, I'm paraphrasing. If there's good report, if there's any virtue, think on these things. So if things are building our marriage, I guess we can have a similar list. If these things are pure, honest, of good report, if they are not appearances of evil and dishonest and unpure, and if they're uplifting for your personal life or for your marriage, go ahead.
Yeah.
Include them. But if not, be careful, because they might be intruders that may come with a little piece and get in and then take over your marriage, your own life, and your family. So Wow, that's a huge one. I had never thought about it in that way, but actually I can totally see it. And I've experienced it myself, and I've seen families that adopt that constant conversations on others, on negative things about others, not good things about others.
Yeah.
And that's their life. And that's the only way they connect. And that's sad.
That is sad.
That's sad, and that's so destructive, and that's Satan's way to just use anything to destroy our connection with God and with each other, and just disconnect us from the beauty and the things that truly are nourishing and uplifting in life. Another thing that comes to my mind, which it kind of goes along others, again, like people that can be intruders, is those that come in the marriage life really trying to befriend or have some type of connection, and like with, like ladies with you, guys with me. And I think sometimes it's like, oh, once you're married, you won't have those issues. That's a lie, because that's why there are so many infidelity and affairs and divorces because of it. So definitely more than ever, we need to guard our marriage. So what are things we've experienced in that field, and what are things we've implemented, like practical things in this area?
I think one of the things that really kind of upset me is someone trying to become close friends with Debbie under the idea that, or his idea that he knows her longer than I know her. And therefore he thinks because of that, she's more closer to him than I am. She's more closer to me. This is actual situation. This is an actual situation, and after being married. And I was so surprised, like, how is this person, at least for me, the reasoning, the benefit of the doubt is that at least if we act awkward with each other, and if we are constantly having issues and we don't talk with each other, even though it is wrong, it's a long shot, at least then someone is trying to come for the aid of the girl. That would, someplace it would make sense. Okay, he's just trying to make his case and try to come into this marriage. But this person knows us very well, how much in love we both are, and we have been doing ministry together. So we are traveling, we are married, we are doing a whole lot of stuff together. And then this guy thinks, with all of that in play, he still thinks, oh, I know her for many years than you know her. So who is close to her?
And this person actually asked kind of that directly, like, who knows her longer? Like, hey, I got more points than you. And I was like, are you serious? And the interesting thing is that this specific situation, the person was very respectful throughout my single years, and we've known each other for a long time, and it was more like an acquaintance and a nice, brother. That's it. With respect and kindness, we would greet and say a few words, but not much ever. We were not even close friends or anything. And Martin was very interested to become friends with him, had a heart to be, a help and an encouragement and a good friend. But that transitioned immediately, especially after our wedding, to me. Like, okay, very nice meeting you, but then come to me and try to, somehow talk more to me and be more friends. And I started to feel like this is not so normal. Like, he was never so interested in really building a friendship before. So why now? And I remember Debbie shared, honey, I don't feel something right about this guy. And I didn't pick anything up at that time. And I was like, he's always like that. He's just friendly. Maybe he's not like that. Maybe you're thinking like that.
But a few weeks later, I'm starting to notice the same thing that she noticed it. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Like ignored kind of him, kind of say hi, because if not, it would look really wrong. So like, hi, but then it's like, I was the focus. And I started to feel uncomfortable. And then even greeting, it would be like a high five or just a handshake all the years before, but now it was like, oh, I want a hug and a closer hug. And I was like, this is just not feeling right, because number one, I'm married. Number two, it was never like this before, and why is there more closeness now? But then the thing that comes very often is like, well, I see as sisters. I have other friends like this that are married, and they're like a sister to me, and like I want to be connected to them, and basically I want to be connected to you like them. But we personally see it very differently. Mm-hmm. There's no sister, mm-hmm. mother, or grandmother, or that we can use that label to take undue familiarities and mm-hmm. inappropriate closeness to someone of the opposite gender. So we're like, this goes totally against our values. Mm-hmm. And I had to speak with single guys. With guys when I was single, and as a married person, we will still have to keep doing that, putting our boundaries. Mm-hmm. If they don't understand body language, we will have to say, hey, brother, please respect this. And people might get offended or take it wrong, but hey, if we don't set boundaries, who is going to do that?
Exactly. And it made it even worse. Debbie shared it a little bit, but I want to emphasize on that part because it was affecting me. We both would be walking and he would not even greet me. He would act as though I was not even present there. He would just go to her, greet her, shake hands with her, and he would not say a single word to me. I'm like, can you see me? I'm like, I'm present right here, like right here. But he would ignore me completely. And sometimes when we have different conferences happening, he would come. He would just say hi to me once, and then the whole conversation is with Debbie. I'm like, you're supposed to connect with me, not with her. You can say hi, you can talk, but at least talk with both of us. But it got to a point where he was just focused on her, just want to talk to her, just want to like squeeze her for the hug. And I'm like, okay, this is not right. Because I don't do those things with other girls, and she doesn't do with other guys, because we have certain principles. And then when once we were in a car, and he openly, without shame, he openly said, "Oh, I thought you would let your missus sit next to me," because he was the one who was driving the vehicle. And then, oh, that is not happening. In our marriage, we are very clear. I'll be the one who will be sitting next to you, not her. And if I'm driving, she'll be sitting next to me, not while you're driving. Just wanted to overdo it so that he will come back to the thing. And then he started going off. Oh, I don't know why you see it that way, and it's not wrong. There is another friend. Her husband is fine always, and she's always sitting next to me when I'm driving, and we always chat and chat and chat. I said, well, that is their marriage. They can do whatever they want to. In our marriage, what God put together, let no man asunder. He got upset with that. He did not like the fact that I brought Bible into the thing and God's principles for marriage. God put it as a sacred entity. He was so upset that I said that. And he said, I knew you were going to say this. I knew you were going to say this. Why so much hatred against married couple? Because they want to stay true to what God has put as principle.
The devil hates it, and he will look for anyone without, maybe they don't really have intentions to destroy a marriage, but they want that liberality to get close and have familiarity. And this will have to be for another topic, emotional intimacy, and what is that, and how we need to guard it in marriage. I recently saw a post on it that I share in my Instagram, but it was in Spanish from a psychologist. And it can be very sneaky things that creep into the marriage relationship that God wants it to be guarded from intruders. And we can open those doors and knowingly or unknowingly being naive and thinking, well, everyone is family, but the devil is the devil, and families get divorced. Not everyone is family forever with everyone. So we've seen that from our relationship till now in our marriage, it hasn't really changed. Actually, we have observed that it has been sometimes even more intense, some approaches, and but that many times, be there guys or girls, but especially guys that were like friends with me, they would get upset if now I would share, like, you know, you can be more friends with my husband and we can be together friends, but I don't want to have that one-on-one friendship with you, excluding my husband, or that, you know, we are the close friends, but let's connect it now as a whole, because
As a
now
family.
we're one and now we can be friends as family. But this is another area that we have a very strong conviction, and we both have agreed on that we can have friends together or casual friends, but intimate, close, best friends of the opposite sex, and that only union, and that is unique to me with this guy, that it's an intruder to the marriage. And God is very clear. He said, leave father and mother, and also says that forsake all others. So if getting married is only to have sex with this person, but then all others can be still part, then we are transgressing the marriage vows. And so this is a serious thing, and we'll have to do another episode on it because it's a big topic and with many other facets.
Now, we do want to be very clear. This is something from our family, what we have set it together. Now, you need to pray to God, and you need to know what God has kept for your family. We want to be we want to follow everything that the Bible has said, what the principles that God has put in it. And that is why we are trying to keep certain things at bay and not bring into our marriage that is going to separate us. But we want to have good friendships. We want to have good friendships.
And we have amazing friendships.
And that's why we call it as family friends, because we become friends as families. Now, if there is a girl that I am friends with, I will introduce my wife, and she will be our family friend, not just my friend, unique to me. And same goes with her. That way you are saving a lot of heartaches that can come from it. It's not will, it can come from it, and most likely the devil will want to. So how do you avoid these different intruders? Now, with social media, we have spoken about it already. You can always put the notification on silence, and of course, from the phone you can put the limiting time or whatever. It will show you, okay, it's been an hour, so you need to get off your phone, whatever it is. Different apps have that as well. With people, we have also shared, okay, if someone is trying to come into the last scenario we spoke about, we are not just telling to share stories, but we want to draw lessons out of it, principles out of it. If you have that type of situation, or maybe you don't have and someone tries to do it in the future, how can you fix it? They should become family friends. If they don't want to become family friends, because Debbie has tried with some people, some guys, and they always get upset and back off.
Disappear. They didn't care about now our family. They just cared to have that special connection with me. And God gave me this husband. So I don't really want to have other guys that want to be exclusive, because that's not how God created marriage to be. So either we come to a point together that we feel comfortable with our convictions, or, well, if they don't want to be family friends, they can look for another girl.
Yeah, and you can see their intentions, because as soon as Debbie informed them, hey, I would like you to connect with Martin more and we can be friends together. They would always go silent. You don't know where they are or what happened. And that shows their intentions that they just wanted to be friends with her and not as a unit. So with those type of people, you keep them at bay. How about those people that like to bring issues between a couple? What would be your solution for it?
Number one, we can stop them from talking about those things without the other person being present. Number two, if they do blabber out something and we cannot stop them, like, hey, you know, I prefer we talk to it directly and don't bring it to me, because don't use me as a middle person type of thing. We can, if they just throw it out or somehow, then we can go directly to our spouse and share everything with them and hear the story that we can trust from our spouse. And yeah, stand together. Stand together as a unit and avoid those people that especially are known for maybe speaking about others, because they will speak about everyone, including you probably at some point. So like, don't trust those type of people. But if someone that maybe you trust and they share something, I would recommend maybe say, let's talk together about this. Because that would be the best thing.
Yeah.
The Bible even says, if you have something against your brother or sister, go and talk with them directly. So we shouldn't be talking to someone else. That in itself is gossip. And it can be from the spouse. Hey, your husband, your wife did this and that. And well, go and talk to them if you have something against them.
Now, I have a question. What if someone, let's say a girl comes and talks with you and intentionally or specifically asks, what are some negative things going on in our marriage? That is a type of intruder too, right?
Like wanting to know.
What would be your solution for it? How would you react to it?
I think we need to be cautious who is asking and why are they asking. Because in a way, we're very open. We even sometimes share things publicly because we believe that there are a lot of things that we can learn from each other and that we're intentionally working on. But if someone comes like, oh, what are you struggling with in your marriage? I would say don't just open up to anyone asking, because why are they asking about it? Be very careful who you share, because if you're having issues with your marriage, you should go through to a mentor, a trusted counselor, and work things together. Or if your spouse is not open, individually, but with a person that truly can help you. Because sometimes with friends, it's more like a way to be nosy and get into your business and then kind of tell you, oh no, you know, this is not good, or you should walk away from that. And so friends or family will stand to defend you and try to help you move on, but not necessarily with the right tools, but maybe from their hurt, from their fears, from their stress. And we have seen this in marriages as well.
Absolutely.
That someone opens up to the wrong person that is not a therapist, is not a counselor, that has their own issues and trauma. And so that person is like, oh, you have to run away from that. Like, I'll help you. Let's get rid of this marriage. And that's not how it should be dealt with. So
we know couples that have separated, split up, divorced, just because one person in that couple opened up to a wrong person or wrong couple, and the whole marriage fell apart. Not because of adultery, but because they opened up to someone, and then the other person or the other couple have made up the whole story as to what it could be, what it could have been, and to break the marriage apart. So be very careful with those intruders. The last one that I wanted to talk about is the gossip part. What is the solution for the gossip part? Pray. Pray to God. God, show me if I am a gossiper. Show me and make it clear to me if I am dwelling in talking about these gossips that is not helping me or the other person. Because naturally we have an inclination to gossip, inclination to negative things that is happening around us, and we are our mind is excited, and we want to know, we want to make our own comments, our judgments, and yada yada yada. But when we ask God to show us if we are gossiping, please help me to stop from gossiping, God will do it. You might not necessarily hear a voice, but God will impress you. And that would be a solution for you to turn off your notification there, that way.
Yes, and I will want to leave you with a challenge that actually, let me grab a book here. Whoa. This book, The Lost Art of Thinking, has a lot of very good advice from Dr. Neil Nedley, and one of the things he shares as a challenge when it comes to that criticism, maybe about your own marriage, is 14 days of no criticism, 14 days of avoiding. And if you catch yourself sharing that with someone, you have to start again the count of 14. So it's a big challenge, but I would challenge you to try it. You won't lose anything. If anything, you will gain a new perspective of life. And instead of, because maybe that's what you've learned to talk, so then you have nothing to talk about. That happens.
Yeah.
So maybe talk about gratitudes, highlights. Try to start seeing the miracles in your life, the good things. If you are prone to criticize your spouse, start to think on the blessings, the positives, and don't expect more, but be grateful for what you have. And that can transform your perspective in any relationship, in any situation. So I want to leave you with that challenge when it comes to gossiping, to that intruder. Kick it off with God's power and also an intentional effort to catch yourself and avoid it, because our brain is like a neural pathway. Anything we do, be it social media, being open with others and let them come in and take over our marriage emotionally or whatever with their comments, or with criticism and gossip, it becomes a routine, a default mode. And so if we start to make the effort with God's power to change it, then we're going to start to realize that we are creating a new neural pathway, a new habit, and that can be much better and a greater blessing. So with this, we have come to the end of this episode. We pray you are blessed and that you will ask yourself the question, what are intruders into my life and relationship with God or with my own life goals? What are intruders in my marriage or romantic relationship? And God will show you the values and the things you need to adjust. So we pray God bless you, and we'll see you in the next episode.